Hi everyone, welcome back into the Fun Factory. What are we? I reckon it's about a week of this sort of semi-social isolation. I hope everyone's not going too stir crazy. We cut the internals, the wooden internals for the wing yesterday, as you would have seen from the last video. And what we're going to do now is put the bits together, put it into the wing and join it. So the first thing when we're putting the internals together is we start with the undercarriage. It's like a mount, a block, if you like.
That's what we cut out on the mill yesterday.
Yep, and that goes into...
So the undercarriage mounts into that. That's the idea. But that's got to be very solidly mounted. So it assembles around a box. This is a right wing, yeah?
It is a right wing.
Don't want to mess that up.
So many times you see Mustangs that have got the... Was it the wrong side?
That's a left wing, isn't it?
You should get me to do it. I'm really good at left and right. You see the Mustangs with the undercarriage, you have a bit of a hard landing, you see, with the top of the wing where they've been punched through. So this has been designed so that the mount for the undercarriage is really strong, and then the load is spread over the wing so that there isn't just one point of impact and wrecks your wing.
Does that make sense?
What all of this
Yeah.
does to me. Hope it does to people watching. It will when it will make sense when you see the whole thing into the wing.
So the electron retracts, you can get them with the motor out the back like that, or out the normal way out this side. So we have them out the back so that just slides in there, so we don't have to cut out too much of this. So at least we've got a bit of a box shape to hold the undercarriage. A lot of Mustangs, everything just hangs out the front. You can't get into this leading edge. There's no support at the front, and they just peel backwards. So we've tried to make this strong by having double plywood tied into a big solid 6mm aluminium plate at the front. So the whole thing boxes up, if you like.
And the good thing is you can just screw straight down into this.
So yeah, you tap the aluminium plate so screws go straight in, Loctite. And no ugly
none of those bloody blind nuts
behind it.
Pain in the neck to put in.
So that's the tube you made the other day. That goes through at this really interesting angle, and that goes in there. And the main spar just all slots together, which then slots into the root rib. So once this goes in, come around and have a look at that.
Okay, I'll come around this side. This has been built into the mould.
So when we made the mould, we put this tube in at exactly the right angle so that goes in, and then locates into there, so that whole assembly now is just perfectly aligned. That just cannot move. So this part of the mould holds the tube, which holds everything exactly where it's meant to be.
So the two wings slide together on the tube. You have a tube that goes into one side, the other wing, they come together, and then that goes up under the fuse and gets bolted onto the fuse.
So you need a very solid mount in the wings to take these.
So we've got these
M6 bolts. So there are 4 M6 bolts that hold the wing onto the bottom of the fuse, 2 on each wing. So to make a mount that's very strong, we decided on CAD again. So we make these little cancellation contraptions.
That's that little metal bit that we were cutting on the mill the other day, and you're probably wondering what on earth it was for and where it went.
So it's there to take the load of these wing bolts. We've had other planes in the past where they basically just had a blob of high sol in there that you screw the bolts down onto, which, as you can imagine, doesn't last very long. So we've come up with this box structure, very solid little box structure.
So solid, even when you drop it, it doesn't break.
And it goes, so this is the rear spar, so it'll all get glued together in here. Like
So just hold it still for a minute. So the little, it's like a 3-sided box, and it plugs into the rear spar. I'll just move the glue out of the way, like that. Very clever.
All at the right angles, obviously. So that then assembles.
We have one rib in the middle of the wing.
It picks up those 2 ribs like that, and these bolts will go down and located into the mould. So when we glue it all together, that will be perfectly aligned. And that's the aileron spar. But the aileron's going to hang off. The only bit of alignment we have to do, because it's all done by that tube, is one jig out on the tip here to hold the main spar and the aileron spar in alignment. So that's what that's for. There's another one of these.
And this, while that little jig is in, we just put a couple of little blocks of balsa just to hold this in place before we take the jig out.
That's a sideways one. Goes that way. These are all cleverly designed so that the tabs only go together one way, so it's easy to assemble. Not easy, it's foolproof to assemble.
Is that why you test them out on me?
Yeah. Arrows upwards, that's why it goes downwards. So that's the front block. So this little, again, box, aluminium rubbing surface, and the bolts go through and they'll screw into the fuselage. So that gets glued in there when we glue the whole wing together.
That's basically the internal, isn't it? It's pretty simple.
Almost. Because we've done them for a while now and made a lot of mistakes, we've found we have to put an end cap, a really solid end cap in the end of that tube, and we put a little blocker, because over time when you assemble and disassemble that many times, you keep putting the tube in and out, you knock that end cap out no matter how well it's done. So we put this, that'll go in there like that, to stop the tube pushing out and knocking this out into the middle of the wing where you lose it.
Just a little, what do you call it, like a little blocker.
Yeah, little. No doubt it's got a name, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, we don't give names to things, we just make stuff and put stuff in.
One problem with making such an extremely solid undercarriage mount is that if you do stuff your landing up, something's got to break somewhere, and we don't want that to break. We don't want it to start ripping out of the wing. So what we've done, so the Electron retract is just solid ass. So that's the leg we use. It's a Robart oleo set into a bit of 6061 aluminium that we turn up on the lathe, drill a hole to fit the Robart oleo, make a bracket for the door, and we turn a spigot on the end which perfect fit into the Electron trunnion block. So they go in there. So if you really mess your landing up, as we have occasionally done, this is the weak point. This is what bends. That will bend and break before any structure in the wing bends and breaks. So we maintain our wing, the wing stays together, and all we're up for is, 10 minutes on the lathe to make a new one of those. So that's the thinking there. Like that.
Oh, good.
Ish. It's the wrong way around, it doesn't matter.
Yep. Let's get the idea.
So that's the dry fit. Basically mixing goo now.
Mix up the 413 powder with the epoxy, which makes this really strong glue, and then we pipe it round the edges, all over the top and bottom, and we put the two sides together and clamp it down. So we might hop to it and start right away. All glued up, we just use a little bag, just use a piping bag, just a plastic bag with a hole cut in the end. There it is. Just like that. So both sides, the edges of the top and bottom are done. It's just a bead of the glue.
Block of wood. So if we put that on the stand and start clamping. Oh no, I hate these things. Right on the end so it can reach.
And there it is. One right wing nearly done. Well, that's one part of it. So it's all glued together, internals in and clamped down. So when it comes out, and then the work begins.
Servos and retracts and doors.
And then we have to make inner gear doors, the inside of the gear doors, and glue onto that, cut the gear door out, and make the clamshell, the inner clamshell. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one wing. Now
guns, ailerons, flaps.
now we can start on the next one. So, till next time, stay safe, have fun, and catch you in the Fun Factory another time. Bye.